With generative AI, a series of conveniences for creating new applications have emerged. It's much easier for developers to create a new application using artificial intelligence tools. Everything is much faster to build a prototype, deliver to production, and go live. But obviously, this also makes it much easier for attackers. They can also use artificial intelligence to create new attacks, new threats.
What I've been seeing, including the volume of fake accounts, we have to do takedowns every day.
And as a result of this, as an impact of this, we have a 1,265% increase in new targeted phishing attacks generated by artificial intelligence.
Kasha is attacked from several angles. It's attacked because it's a bank, right? So the guys are coming after the money. It's attacked because it's an arm of the government, so the guy is a hacktivist and is there just to take down Kasha to demoralize the government. And Kasha is also attacked for being Kasha.
More than 94% of companies have been hit by some type of phishing attack. And today, every 42 seconds, a new phishing email generated by artificial intelligence occurs.
Automation for us to also perform better at our jobs, deliver faster, spend less time on operational and repetitive tasks, while the criminal is creating accounts on Facebook, on Instagram, putting up a website to sell, making it look exactly like the company in an automated, fast, and autonomous way.
So why is the traditional security solution no longer useful for protecting against this new threat landscape? Simply put, these solutions were built in a pre-generative AI era. They were designed for a time when attackers would build threats individually and execute them one by one.
We used to create specific rules within the server simply to block. And you also ended up spending, not just on the firewall, but spending computational resources.
It's not possible to solve this problem by simply adding new tools. Research also shows a number that I really love, right? Only 32% of security teams believe that their tools are well configured.
Today, the main challenge is that companies already do segmentation, but they run it on the cloud. So in a way, it will always be consuming the same point of presence that will be in the cloud.
We are a global platform. We have a global network with more than 100 points of presence. And to reach any region where we operate, it's less than 30 milliseconds of latency.
Scaling means delivering the same application you have in a more efficient way, both from a cost perspective and from an efficiency perspective. So latency is a metric that makes people's eyes light up.
In other words, no matter where your users are, to reach the Azion network and run your application or deliver your content, the latency is truly minimal.
It's very natural for companies to have many systems, many applications, and many things they need to publish and keep secure.
So for that, we have a complete portfolio of observability solutions to see what's happening, types of attacks, etc.
So our proposal is to place an interface at the edge of the network, at the edge of the applications, that provides the ability to use Azion's products to configure protections in a way that makes sense for the business. In other words, if I need a web application firewall, I can do that in a very simple way. If I want to do geo-blocking, I can do it very simply. And all in one place. Taking the load off the teams that need to manage the company's internal infrastructure and redirecting it to where it makes the most sense, which is where the attack happens.
But one of Azion's mindsets that I consider very important is programmability, programmable security by design. So Azion's products are designed this way in all network layers, from the network, going through the hardware operating system, making the most of the resources that the kernel offers us for protection, up to the application layer, up to the highest layers. So this approach, the multi-layer security approach, right? Where I'm concerned with all the layers and take advantage of the benefits. What is best to protect at the network layer? What is best to protect at the kernel level? What is best to protect at the application layer?
And AI is much more than just a ChatGPT, for example, okay? We can build models to take the user's request, analyze this request, and if it's malicious, an AI can apply a security measure.
Azion's AI product comes to bring all these pieces together. If I want to implement security and use an AI engine to do it for me, I can do it with just a few lines of code using an edge function, several edge functions, and configure it in a very simple way. In just a few minutes, you have an AI solution running without having to leave Azion's infrastructure for even a second.
Well, the first point is to show that we can use inference models within the Azion platform. So since everything is running on the same stack, I can intercept the user's connection, the request, send it to the model, and based on a prompt, it will be able to analyze that request context. And if it detects a malicious action, it can apply the mitigation. So this is to show that we can use this distributed network to build agents for attack mitigation.
Basically, this agent analyzes events that pass through the Azion platform. So through our GraphQL, we can capture end metadata from the request. And I can make this agent understand this metadata and be able to create different dynamic types of blocks. I can, through the platform, using templates, using all the tools that Azion provides, I can create things easily, and I can often even save these professionals time so they can tackle more complex problems.
So you don't need to have development skills. You don't need to be a data scientist to be able to create an AI agent. You just have to use the ready-made templates. You just have to use the ready-made low-code tools. The bottleneck we had before Azion was much more in the tools operation, both as a CDN and for security, which lacked a lot of tuning and parameterization for it to really work in a more assertive way. So much so that after switching to the solution, we already gained a performance of at least 60% faster. We went from a 14-second page load down to practically 7 seconds. And also the security operation with the automated UEFI, preventing so many negative and unnecessary requests from reaching the server, which avoids a huge expenditure of computational power.
A retail business can't wait, Dafiti, the Pão de Açúcar group can't make the customer wait 3, 4, 5 minutes in the shopping cart until the purchase is completed.
Yes, when we implemented Azion's solution, I'm going to give you a number that might be frightening, right? Yes, we reduced server consumption by 40%. 40%. Why? We removed all that protection that was entering the company, and I used to handle that security within the company. Now I handle everything at the border, everything at the edge, right? So for us, that was a huge step forward, besides the savings here.
When you think that we, in the case of Caixa, are protecting the entire lottery network, think about it. I can't think, off the top of my head, of anything more widespread than the lottery agencies in Brazil. So today we protect all the lottery agencies before they reach Caixa, before the traffic reaches Caixa. And all of these lottery outlets, they need these agencies, right? Which are, at the end of the day, Caixa's agencies, right? They need to reach to get to the servers, to Caixa's data center, to the applications quickly and securely, without latency and without traffic disruption.
My entire edge is taken care of by Azion. In other words, all the routing I do with Azion, I've integrated that into my SOC today with my use cases, and I can actually handle the monitoring alerts for that.
All of our public endpoints go through edge computing, together with Azion and all of them, we have to ensure that this traffic is being protected. It's our front door, right? If I have any failure, any volume of blockage, that's where I go and close the door and lock it so no one can get in.
We've been working with Azion for a while now, right? And I think that to modernize, I believe that monitoring is fundamental.
It's not enough we don't just have the UEFI. We also have DNS protection with Azion. We have the bot manager handling rate limiting, which can block certain attacks based on their quantity. Here at Azion itself, it's a fundamental tool, right? As Julian mentioned, there's no way we could sustain an environment like Caixa's today without a solution, like the one Azion provides for us. More importantly, in my case, as a cybersecurity manager, was the issue of protection. Before, we would see the attacks coming in and in large quantities. Today, when I look at the monitoring tool that Azion provides, I see how much it's stopping, how much it's blocking. So we configure some protection rules, along with the anti-bot rules, and we start to notice what would have been entering our environment, and that now it's no longer getting in, precisely because it brought this protection.
So in the first 90 days, it was striking. We were able to see the decrease in consumption and the protection that was added to our Caixa environment. And in terms of how we get help, how we request support for our UEFI or our CDN, it's about having someone close by like Azion does for us. In just moments, in minutes, I can have someone analyzing a problem. So I can even give other Black Fridays as a reference, A problem investigation started in less than 2 minutes. There was someone connected in the war room analyzing what failure was happening, whether it was at my origin in my infrastructure or if it was actually external, in order to get it reestablished.
It helped us to understand much more about both the usability and the actual operation of the tool. and being side by side, configuring with us, operating with us, so that we had the best possible practice using a CDN, UEFI, and edge solution.
What we have to try to bring, what we've introduced at Azion, is to also deliver defense solutions based on AI. With this, we gain scalability in defending against an attack that is already scaled because of AI, right?
The main result a client can get by creating an AI agent and running it on Azion's global infrastructure is operational efficiency and scale. And it can perform many more tasks than it could with a human being and in a much shorter time.
We enable our clients to increasingly use AI and use it to defend against these attacks as well, which are already autonomous, right? Today, and Azion has brought this, we have brought concrete ways to use AI, concrete ways to create autonomy for security.
Azion has invested heavily over the last few years in artificial intelligence, with a greater focus in these last 2-3 years on generative AI. But we were already working with artificial intelligence, with machine learning since the very beginning. Azion's first products already leveraged artificial intelligence for pattern detection and data clustering, and now with Azion AI Inference, we can do much more. You can no longer simply rely on the traditional security stack, which, although still necessary and important, that stack with UEFI, network layer protection, DDoS, is no longer enough for the new threat landscape. In this new scenario that uses artificial intelligence to enhance the threat, the only way to defend is also by using artificial intelligence for defense. And for that, Azion has launched a complete suite of products with AI Inference and the new AI Studio that we are developing and will be launching soon.
Today, with the advent of AI 2 years ago, malicious agents are investing in this and carrying out many AI-based attacks, whether to create malicious payloads or to create new attack vectors. So the challenge for many companies is how to defend against this.
Azion has deployed GPUs throughout its global infrastructure to ensure that inference execution can run closer to where the user is.
That's the big change this year, making this a concrete reality, and next year will be even better because we'll have more things running on AI, more models, more trained for security. For those of you watching us, schedule a demonstration with our specialists and see everything we've built and how you can empower your business with artificial intelligence and with our security stack.